second. 1 second. Go. So, hello and welcome to Lila Frex, episode 113. We didn't do one of these yesterday. On it in the community tab as to why, or I at least told you it wasn't happening. But today we're going to be starting something else that I need to do. So, you guys see where the TV is in these drawers. Now, the drawers, hey Scooter, that this has been sitting on. These drawers I bought like 2 years ago, but it turns out these are the worst drawers that you can buy from IKEA. So they're falling apart basically. They have been for a while, and you know, when the shelving was crisscrossing all this, I was very hesitant to go do the whole replace them thing. Because at that point, I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to pull apart that shelving. But, 1 second, my eye stinks. Now that that shelving has been changed up, removed, we can actually go ahead and do it. So, I have bought a pair of like old wooden drawers, basically, but like, you know, proper like oak wood type things. And that gets delivered today. So, in this stream, we're essentially just prepping the place by, you know, taking a hammer to this. I have to put all my clothes out on the bed, but it also means I can get a better reorganisation of that. This is kind of like the big final part. This is going to really have anything to do with furniture. So, can't say how long the stream will be, but that's kind of my goal. So, it's currently, what time is it? It's 12:36. So, the delivery driver said between, or the message at the centre, right, said, furniture will be here. That's good. My drawers that are replacing these falling apart ones will be here between 12:15 and 2:15. So it's already been like a good, like, you know, 20 minutes. And I'm thinking that could come with any time within then. I would rather have some, at least be semi-prepared. So this whole thing has to come apart. Means you're getting 2 streams today, realistically. So even if this stream only ends up being, you know, 25 to 30 minutes, I still streamed and we get this done, because yes, it means we have to put a pause on reorganising the shelving and fixing sets and stuff, which I'll admit, see when the sets on the shelf nice and neatly and stuff, I don't really end up doing short, so that has slightly fallen off. But these things happen, so we're just going to start by moving things into other places. Disconnecting all the wiring, the consoles, the TV, all of it will have to go there. I don't like doing stuff like this. It's a pain in the ass when I've not long got reset up again. But it's one of those things. Where I work is near this big charity store, and sometimes they have like really nice furniture that comes in. The glass cabinet that I have over there with the swinging door and the light came from there. And it's all, you know, extremely cheap, and it's really good quality stuff as well. So, I'll put you guys here so when people join in, they know we're a Lego channel, they can see the shelving and stuff. But we're going to be taking apart the drawers as we go. I'm also going to disconnect all the consoles and stuff that are sitting on here. So, you know, we've got the PS2 has been disconnected. Like I said, the room for the last 6 days has been a work in progress, but considering, all considered, I think we've been rather quick with the progress on it. Right. Yeah. Yep, PS2. A lot of people will see that and call me old. No, I've just got good taste. I'm going to take my disc out the Xbox before I move it. I don't want to damage these discs because some of these games ain't cheap. So the most recent game I've been playing a lot of. But yeah, I got home at like midnight, so I didn't bother streaming. I'll admit, I sat up and played video games with a friend of mine. But it was more just playing, mucking around in Grand Theft Auto online. So you think the PS2 is cool? I've got something else. So the PS2, one of its main rivals was this. An original Xbox from 2001. Then, of course, the most modern console I own is an Xbox One. I've not upgraded to the current generation. I will do when GTA 6 eventually comes out. So I've got to disconnect all the wires from the TV. Everything that's here has to come out. And yes, in this stream I will be dismantling the drawers. There's not been any games on the current generation of consoles that's made me go, I need to play that. I need to buy a new console. I'm yet to find the game that makes me want to do that. And so far, Grand Theft Auto 6 is like the only game I would do that with. Hey, how's it going? There's the TV up. I'm going to throw this bag out. I'm also going to be moving other things into the other room, just so when I bring in the drawers in here later, I'm obstruction free. Alright, I tell you, it's a nice day outside. I'm going to have to go out for a while later on. So, when the drawers arrive, I've not seen it. I don't know if I'd buy it. Look, despite what a lot of my viewers think, right, I do like The Mandalorian. I don't like the third season. I don't like how they basically made a lot of plots in it pointless, just to circle back, but I do like a lot of the stuff in the show, and something unfortunate so about my collecting. So obviously, like, see around the time The Mandalorian was at like its peak, right? And also around the time I started earning money, and Lego started doing Mandalorian-based sets, right? But back then, because I just started earning my own money, I was more interested, right, in going back and buying a bunch of sets that I'd missed out on or had as a kid that I wanted back. So those Mandalorian sets, they're all now retired. So, move the Xbox 360. And of course, the last console, by the way, is a 360 Slim. Just gonna get everything moved. So, these cables, yep, just lift onto the bed. So, gone. Those drawers started to have like cracks in them. So, and where, so I got this mat off Amazon just to hide it. Because at one point I was just dreading the idea of having to replace and do all this, but I'm now kind of accepting it. So just sort of got to move my table. I need to do that fully later on actually. Just gonna start pulling clothing out the drawer. So I'm saying that those drawers could show up right now. Like realistically, I'm just double checking my text. Oh, an email. An email. Nah, it was something else entirely. Plus, I'll be honest, see when I first got these white drawers, I had white shelving in here, so it matched, but they stand out like a sore thumb in here. So I got this nice wood colour. So these new drawers will fit in really well in here. And they're a little bit longer, so I'll be able to fit all my game consoles on it better than I did there. In fact, I did not too bad a job. Granted, I was only really using the Xbox One and my original Xbox last week that this has been set up. But for having to use the 360, given where I had to put it, I don't know how much of an inconvenience that would end up being. Also, I want to address something in the comments. People are telling me to clean this Xbox, right? Look, it's not that I've got a whole thing here for it. It's not that I'm filthy. When I bought this CEX, they just apparently don't clean things sometimes. This thing needs a really good cleaning. All people are picking up on that in the video. It's a brilliant console though. Yes, the PS2 is the better one out of them. But that machine does have some good games. I'll move some more things. Sorry, I don't need to move this through the other one. I can shut that there. Just clear up some floor space. Trust me, you have no idea how excited just to have. This is like the last thing in the room that I want to fix. Other than my shelving, but like that gets changed up every so often, like the way I display the sets. Like as far as furniture and stuff goes, it's like the last thing. I've been wanting to replace these since July last year, and I just kept putting it off because it would be a pain. And I didn't want it. See, here's the thing. That's the store. Let me put this right. The store where I bought. I'm gonna turn the light off. It's a bit useless to me right now. The store where I got this used cabinet, right, didn't exist yet, so I couldn't just go in there. But when I found that I could buy cheap, really good furniture in there, like this is a high quality glass cabinet, but it was being sold because it's the British Heart Foundation, those stores that sell, you know, second-hand things. And now they've got that store there, and I saw what furniture they had lying around. That motivated me to want to finally get this done. Alright, got to pull out this drawer. So the drawers have just collapsed onto each other. They're no longer functioning as drawers. More clothes to pull out. I honestly, you know how I put the vote up, right? Saying this is the set I will buy when I hit 4K. That's not going to be too far away. Granted, I've not been posting as much. I've not been posting any shorts the last few days, or most of the last week. So my reach may have been shortened slightly, but we're still going. So then, even if the subscriber brings in one subscriber, if this stream brings in one subscriber, I'm happy. Plus, if I'm being honest, I'm not too bothered, right, that it's taken a while to get there. 1 second. Well, the wind has entered the chat. That was sudden. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm not too bothered with the fact that it's taken so long for me to hit 4K, because it means I'll get paid again before I have to buy that set. So to me, that's the advantage. Now this was meant to have 3 drawers, but only 2 of them survived. It probably is. Like, that is a cool set. I'm not surprised if that's the case. Like, that's the one I'd vote on. Hopefully they don't arrive as late past the time as they did last time, but here's the thing. I spent all day while I'm waiting for that cabinet, waiting for the text giving me a time. I woke up to it this morning, so that helps. But that is a cool set, right? And it was the first of its kind. We've had 2 more of them since. But I don't know, I always thought the 2008 one was the coolest one. I mean, like, granted, you only got 2 shock troopers, but that's all you need. Do you ever find that funny with modern LEGO Star Wars sets? People complain if you don't get these exact things of it, or if something's missing. But back in 2008, people were just like, yes, I only got 2 shock troopers. Perfect. I wonder how those same LEGO fans who complain today about not getting a third figure or a named character being missing, how they'd feel about the attitude that people used to have towards it. So that's the drawers out. They're going out the window. That's what I tell you, these things, that drawer just disintegrated, and by the way, it is a tiny drop. So the goal is to break up the drawers with the hammer and just throw the rest of it out, and then I'll go outside and deal with all the remains, so to speak. So if the live stream has to end randomly, it's because those guys showed up to deliver the drawers. Which, as you can kind of guess, is going to take longer. And yes, I did this trip over the OG Xbox controller, which is a huge controller. That's one thing I forgot about that console, how big the controller actually was. Right. I'm going to get the hammer. Down the mat. And that works outside. You're there. Call. No, I don't walk back in. I don't got no hammer. Acquired. See, the reason that we got that big Kashyyyk wave, I don't know if anyone not a lot of people talk about this, right? But 2012, 13, and 14, there's a reason that those lines were the way they were. So 2011/12, there's a lot of Phantom Menace sets because at that point, before Disney bought up Star Wars, they were going to re-release the prequels in 3D. So Lego wanted to do a thing with it. So obviously, 2011/12, we got all that Phantom Menace stuff. 2013 was a whole wave of Attack of the Clones, and 2014 we got the Revenge of the Sith. But I think, if I remember right, only the Phantom Menace actually got shown in cinemas. That's the top of the drawers gone. I do like that, those waves though. Like, those are the last times I got proper prequel era waves. Yo, I'll read the comments in a second. I'm just gonna yeet all that. "2007. I feel that's the only right answer. Or the other right answer is the one from 2000 if you recolor it to be fully brown like in the Complete Saga. The one from 2000 has weird colors like green and tan in it, but I've seen people recolor that one so it's the Complete Saga accurate version. And the drawers are officially, like, there's no going back from what I've just done. I've basically just snapped the frame, which is really what we need to do to get rid of it. Also, those new ones will get delivered within like the next hour. It goes between being Vice City and GTA 4. I feel Vice City has the best music because it's set in the 80s. San Andreas is classic. It's like, seeing people talk about the PlayStation 2, that's usually like the top of every list in terms of that console's best games. San Andreas is always at the top. Tell me what, apparently a tree fell down near my house. The new MTT has some things I don't like, but I do like most of it. Like, let's just say it's better than 2014 and it's better than 2000, but it's not better than 2007. The one thing, right, that this new MTT can do that 07 can't is you can put the droids back in by twisting that Technic thing. I'm sure you can anyway. And with that, they're gone. So, that is us like, there's a few more things I will do as part of this live stream in order to prep for their arrival. I need to take out those drawers, move my guitar, do a couple other things. See, they're going to arrive in the next hour. And I really want to go to the store, but I don't want to risk it. I stay like 10 minutes away from a big Asda as well, so like, I could, but I don't want to. Knowing my luck, it'll arrive while I'm out. So weirdly is a cool thing. I get to actually go over all my clothes and stuff and organise them with these new drawers. This unit has more drawers, so it's even better. Right, so I'm going to deconstruct my little table here that I use for my, well, I've been using this for sorting, but it's the flash room's table. Also need to move these drawers, just all this stuff. I'm pretty sure this will end up being completely flush in that gap. You know, it'll fit perfectly. I'll never set all this up here to be temporary anyways, so I didn't put too much effort into, you know, moving the game consoles I wasn't convinced I was going to use until I got the new furniture. Bomb Squad Troopers are so underrated as Lego minifigures. Like, the Bomb Squad Trooper minifigure is a figure that used to get a lot of undue dislike. I never had a problem with them. I think I have like 16 in my clone army. And you know what? I kind of want a few more. Another good thing about the Bomb Squad Trooper is if you want a cheap clone, you know, that's from back in the day, it's a good option. Like, that's the appeal of it to me, at least. Right, so for the rest of this stream, we'll just continue to prep the place for when those drawers arrive and go from there. Right, sorry, I just got a bit of a text there that's kind of pulled me back into reality a little bit, sorry. You know what, you're my YouTube audience, I don't mind sharing things. I stay with an elderly relative. And said elderly relative isn't feeling too great and they're away getting checked and stuff. So they just sent me a text on that one. So I've got to deal with that. I'm not going to go into further detail. That's why there was no stream last night, because I didn't, that's where I was. So these drawers can sit here. There's nothing in the room really that I need, that I'm going to be needing the next couple of days. It's a couple of days, couple hours. Yeah, me too, man. So, that's the tree that's fallen down. I figured it out. Oh, it's just my cat opening the door. Alright. Right, so that gives us optimal room. I don't see why. I'm going to look up other things. I don't see why I can't fit them through the door. It would have been harder with my old setup. Again, that's primarily the reason I never replaced them. That time it was the wind. That's the reason I avoided replacing these drawers, because I knew how hard it would be to get new ones in the room. It'll still be a little bit difficult, but it's now considerably less difficult. Stalingrad. So, considering how young you said you were, I'm impressed by your military knowledge. Like, I cannot think of many people in your age group who would even know what that word means. I am impressed. Like, I spend, oh shoot, and I'm probably going to do this after the stream. I spend my time watching a guy on YouTube called Mark Felton Productions, and he goes into detail on all the stuff from like World War II, politics surrounding the war. He did a very good video the other day talking about like why the British Navy is completely screwed and why we went from having a fighting force to, by the way, we are screwed if something happens. Quite an interesting video, to be fair. Yeah, I'll put the hammer there in case I need it for whatever reason. Because I'm going to vacuum in here, I'm just checking there's no rogue screws or anything from breaking those drawers. I don't think that there was, because you don't, those type of IKEA drawers don't really have a lot of screws in them. It's more wooden dowels, which will be stuck in the wood. I was off to go outside and reorganize all that stuff, but we should have just under an hour till the drawers are expected to arrive. Ben. Right, pretty much just ready to go get the vacuum cleaner, which I'm pretty sure is just out here actually. Ah, convenient. Oh wow, that is a southern gust. Anyone else see that? That was a gust of wind. Like a proper one. And I finally found Jabba's tail. It had moved under there. I mean, what? I was debating buying a goddamn new Jabba the Hutt because of that. I'm glad that I was decided to wait and see if I would find the piece. Right. Socket. I've actually got a whole goddamn tower of sockets. Just got to check if I've had any more messages. So it's honestly, man. I did World War II in Primary 7, right? And do you know something funny? I'm the reason in the classroom that they had to stop teaching World War II because I went home. So this is like what? 2014. So this is like 12 years ago, right? I was 11 and I found World War II to be a fascinating subject and I thought this is cool. So I went home and I did my own research and then the teacher had to stop teaching World War II because of the things I'd found. Because we were told to give a presentation on World War II. And I looked and I thought, do you know what, right? The class would not talk about Hitler directly, right? They kind of have a problem with that, right? But, you know, me being 12, I didn't quite get that because I never talked about, you know, the final solution or anything, right? No, I'm just still having to move and organise things, Lego Sheep Productions. It's still a work in progress. I've got some new furniture coming. So I've had to dismantle some furniture and stuff like that. It's awkward. But I went home, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own independent research. I want to know things. So when we were doing the presentations, I mentioned the final solution. I mentioned the fact that Hitler would Hitler had this doctor guy, right, who would supply him with all sorts of crazy stuff to like help him with these like medical issues, and it made him insane. So you know how medicines back then had like hardcore, things in them. I don't want to say the word on stream. Like, I basically went and mentioned what Hitler was taking, among other things, what he did. I even mentioned his book. And and this was on a Friday, right? And we had like all the World War II stuff up. We had watched the movie Good Night, Mr. Tom, all this other stuff. We had come in the Monday, and the teachers had decided, because I was sharing other information with the rest of the class, because I'd went and done my research, they changed the topic to Victorian Britain. So that was a new thing we were studying. As a result of... So, come on, teachers, you can't have it both ways. I went and done the research. You knew what I might have been finding. See, that's the thing, right? There's a big debate if he actually had kids. There's been a few people, right, that have claimed to be his kids, but it's the whole DNA test thing. It's like how the Soviets had a skull that allegedly was his, right? And here's the thing, right? They tested it and they had this skull sitting around to the 90s, right? And with that, well, everyone go subscribe to Scooter. I want to see that guy get bigger. Basically, they had this skull and they went, oh, well, we've tested it as Hitler's, but it was the Soviet Union that looked into it. So the rest of the world's like, all right, but can we try? And they went, oh, sorry, we've accidentally cremated the skull and thrown it in a river. So it's one of those things, they can't completely prove. Hitler does have some like living relatives and stuff, but they've all vowed to not have kids, apparently, to prevent the bloodline from continuing. The most famous one was a guy claimed to be his son. But I think he's dead now. See, World War II, despite all the really messed up stuff that happened, has some interesting like stuff in it. Like, as a subject, World War II is one of the best subjects you can look into. The First World War was different. I'll admit, I don't find World War I as interesting as II, but II was a bigger front. There was the weapons and stuff in II, and I'll be back in a moment. Do you know what? I don't care how much of a mess my hair is. We are taking the hat off. It's too warm. But like World War II, like it's a common joke you hear in the historian community is the one time where the sequel is better than the original. Like my favourite weapon, I don't know about you, Scrib, my favourite weapon from World War II is Gustav, the big rail cannon. And I go on Temu occasionally. I've never bought anything. Maybe this is a bit, I know this is content you would enjoy. You can buy very accurately built World War II weapons and stuff off Temu. And the one that I often consider going and buying is it's £110. Like, it's huge. It's knockoff Lego. And it's the giant rail Gustav. And I thought, That's what I need. Like, the big Real Gustav gun is what you mean. Well, it says the driver is going to arrive shortly. I'm just what else should be done on stream. We've been streaming for an hour. I'm going to use the toilet. I'm going to debate what else we could be doing on the stream to help. I don't think that there's much more realistically. The other drawers, they're out. Just for reference, my garden is there. And there's other stuff from other rooms that we're throwing out as part of like we're doing like parts of the house up. So, yeah. This is the one thing that I cannot do once the TV goes back here to have the window open like this, so I'm just enjoying it while possible. Right, I'll be right back. Right, so I'll admit I am struggling. It's not like we can do gaming or anything at this point in the stream, but yeah. No, I don't have a Venator. I had the chance to buy a Venator, and I picked the Super Star Destroyer. Got the fucking over there. Things are a bit of disarray because I've been cleaning, so I've got some new furniture arriving. Miniguns feel like a very modern thing. Hey, Enzo. Hell no, man. That cost me a fortune. I bought a sealed one. I'm insane. I paid more money. The story is I had an injury at work and my work were at fault, so they had to pay me money. Like, that to compensate me. And I decided as part of the compensation that I was going to get myself, by my shelves are a mess because they're being reorganized, as is most of the rooms. I'm getting new furniture put in. And I decided, sealed in the box now, because I wanted to open it from new. I wanted the experience. Super Star Destroyer from 2011. Brilliant set. And no, I have Cloud City. That's my more outrageous set. I didn't pay current market value for some of these sets. Some of the things in my collection I bought when they were not worth nearly as much as they are now. Oh yeah, see if you look up, he's, by the way, he's onto something there. See if you look up the Venator used as a gold mine for getting some cheap stuff. But yeah, so I don't think there's too much more in this stream that can be done. I'm gonna have to go outside and do those drawers, but you know, put them in the pile. So I'm gonna quickly get this Hoover away because I cannot have any obstructions. So there'll be a stream later on. Please do not ask me when. I've got that question so many times. There's no answer. I wish that I could give someone an answer on that one. So within the next 45 minutes, according to that tracker, the drawers I've bought will arrive. Basically, that's why the place is a mess, because I've been rearranging and buying some new furniture for this room. So there is that. Trust me, very excited to get the new furniture. It's going to look nice. Also, I talked about that I bought some parts off Bricklink. So I was telling you guys about how I have some sets, like the Gungan Sub and the Twilight, right? That have some unfortunate yellowing. Because, you know, the Twilight's an 18-year-old set. The Gungan Sub is 14. So my parts came in to replace some of the pieces on those sets that have yellowed. So we got that one in there. I also got another package in this morning. And this one, it's just bricks. That's for the Clone Wars minifigure stand. What? So those have arrived. But look, I'm going to go. I'll see you guys later on.